Hello, friends. Welcome to the first episode of Curtain Call Commentary with Kate and Katie. I'm
Yes.
Katie,
I'm Kate.
and we are two best friends who met in college who absolutely love Broadway and all things theater. So we decided to start a podcast to talk about it.
And we talk about it a lot, so I feel like this is perfect.
Yeah, I think that there's no better way for us to truly be able to get all of our thoughts out than to just sit down and record it in this way. I think that this is a perfect outlet for us.
Absolutely. And I feel like every friend goes through the phase of like, we should start a podcast.
Really, this started because Kate texted me like a week ago and said, I had a dream that we started a podcast together. And I said, well, let's do it. And so here we
You're like,
are.
what are we waiting for? I think we should introduce ourselves and talk about how we met and our journey with theater.
Okay.
Um, because I think that's pretty cool. Because it's our first episode. It's the first episode of Curtain Call Commentary. So why not introduce ourselves? Katie, you want to go first?
Okay, sure. So I'm Katie Schisler. My normal day job, I work in marketing, but I think about theater all day long. And I originally fell in love with theater when I was in middle school. I did all of our middle school plays, and had never really had any great roles until was actually encouraged by Kate and some of my other friends in college to rejoin theater as a university student my junior year. And that's when I got to play some really fun roles like Evil Gabby and She Kills Monsters. I cannot
Iconic.
remember what my character's name was, but we were in technical difficulties together and we were playing best friends. And you're
So far from the truth.
I, right. But he cast Dr. Blauer, God rest his soul, cast us because he knew that we would be perfect for those roles.
Yeah.
And your character was obsessed with Disney, and my character was like super like I don't know. She didn't care at all.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was like the perfect
Oh,
role
it was
for
perfect. I'm Kate, which I know is so far fetched from your names, Kate and Katie. It's with and I'm from Long Island, New York, so I kind of grew up with the theater industry always. I saw shows. I think the first show I saw when I was 7 was Annie at Madison Square Garden with Kathy Lee Gifford or
wow.
something as Miss Hannigan. And then that was like my first official show. Then that was like my first like show, and then my first official show was Legally Blonde in 2007 with Christian Borle and Laura Bell Bundy.
Stop.
And I did not know what was going on half the time, but it was the first CD that I bought with my own money from Best Buy. Um, and I was obsessed with it, and I wanted to marry Christian Borle. So that was that. But I grew up doing theater. I started theater in first grade. That's when I started going into acting classes. And then I did that all through eighth grade, then through high school. I was mostly a musical person. I didn't really do like plays and stuff. And then I did plays when I got into college. And I actually was going to give up during college, not doing it. And then I did it. And all thanks to Dr. Blauer. Love him. God rest his soul.
You'll probably hear his name a
You'll
lot.
hear, yes,
Influenced
we owe
us.
everything to him.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so that was my journey with theater. And then I met Katie, and I was like, you should do this. And Katie was like, okay, I like theater. And then we were in modernity and theater, and Katie was like, I love theater, and all that fun stuff. So that was our story.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually feel like I should go back and tell our like origin story
Yeah.
because I was a transfer student and I came
Mhm.
in halfway through the year sophomore year. And so I didn't know anybody. I'm like trying to make friends and I saw this girl and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so familiar. Like I have met that girl. I know her from somewhere." And so I went up and I was like, "Hey, like I just transferred here, but like where do I know you from?"
Right.
And Kate was like, I don't know you. Like, where I was like, where are you from? And she said New York. And I was like, well, I definitely don't know you. I'm from Maryland. But we have been friends ever since. And I just think
And then
that's
I
really
showed
funny.
you Putnam County Spelling Bee, and
Oh
that
my
was it.
gosh. Yes.
That
You had a
was
little dorm room party with all the people that were in our friend group at the time.
Yeah, I said, you're my friend now. Let me show you the best piece of theater possible.
Obviously, today is Monday, June 8th, when we're recording, which means that yesterday was the Tony.
the Tony Awards, which was so good. Oh my God. I can't. I have a full notes list of everything and
Like,
I'm so excited to share them because I don't even know half the things I wrote. I think I wrote like adjectives because that's all I could get out.
tended to write a whole notes list, but I was so locked in by the end of the night. The only thing I had written down was Shoshana with 5 exclamation points.
But like that's the thing. That
Yeah,
that's
no, that's the
right. That's
vibe.
right. That's it.
Okay,
That's all she got.
Pink. Let's start with Pink.
Well, let's start with the beginning process as a
Yes.
whole. Now, how did you feel when she was announced as
I
host?
was not like upset or like overjoyed. I don't think I
Yeah.
was emotional towards it
Yeah.
one way or another. But I had heard like through the grapevine that Pink was a theater fan. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, she's never been on Broadway or anything like that, but I know that she's like in our universe.
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited to see how it would come from like a literal rock star who has a huge budget and also, not that she has to use her money, I don't know how all that works, but and also like loves theater. And I truly, that opening monologue was a love letter to theater.
Love it. I've always loved Pink since I was little. My mom played Pink all the time to the point where I think I was in like eighth grade and we were going to go see her concert at the Barclays Center.
That's so fun.
And oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to see her. And this is when she was in her full acrobatic era.
Oh yes.
This is
Oh
when Sis was flying.
yeah.
I got sick, like with like the flu or something, and I couldn't go to her concert. And I was so mad. I was so mad. And I ended up giving the ticket to one of my sister's best friends, which they had such a great time. But ever since then, I was like, I love Pink. I want to just see her do like. And then when I heard she was coming into our world, I was like, oh my God. Like, and then her daughter, Willow, is actually a really big theater nerd herself. And
I
so
know,
they
I heard her
actually
saying that last night.
yeah, yeah. Her daughter. If you've ever heard her daughter sing, she's a huge Outsiders fan, Broadway fan, and they moved to New York City to help her pursue theater. And she goes to performing arts high school and all that stuff. And it's super cool because Pink is like always trying to help her daughter pursue her dreams, which is so cool. And
Love a
Pink
supportive
is just
parent.
oh, love it. Like you were saying, like nobody expected it. Like I was expecting maybe like I don't know, like Jessica Vosk, which we need that to happen,
Ben
first of
Platt.
all.
I don't know. There were so many
Right,
people who were
right.
like random choices.
Even when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh yes, well yes, this is the moment. This sounds so correct." And I told my mom, and my mom was screaming, and my mom the whole time was like a proud mom watching it, and was like, "I love her so much."
I was also a proud mom watching it, but not for Pink, just for everyone else. I think that I
Yes,
cried like the second that they read the first award winner, like all the way to the end of the Tonys,
oh
I was just
yeah.
crying.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a journey. If anybody's not familiar with the Tony Awards, it's the Antoinette Perry Awards. I believe it's been in its 79th version this year was 79th. I'm a great theater kid. Thank you so much. But the Antoinette
I thought it was
Perry's
75.
75, probably
Oh, I don't know.
70 something. So, but the Antoinette Perry Awards, and basically it is basically like the Oscars, but for theater. And it's a really great way to get the community involved, have performances, all these really fun things. And I watch it every year. It's my Super Bowl. Like my family watches the Super Bowl. I watch this. Like I'm like everybody shut down. We're watching this. Forget about the news. We're watching this right now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's an important night of TV in my house when we're not watching Love Island.
oh, that's tea for another episode. Love Island the musical coming soon.
I hope so.
But we were watching it and we watched part one. I think it's always been one ceremony until COVID, and then they separated it because of restrictions and stuff.
Right.
Um, and part one was, I believe it was like sound design, it was orchestrations, it was original score, something like that. So, do you like the fact that it's two ceremonies, or would you rather have it as one? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I thought that last night was 3 hours. I mean, it was 3 hours long. I don't know if it was 3 hours long before they split
It
it, because
was. It
this is the
was.
first year that I like really paid attention to the
Mm-hmm.
Tonys.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved how much room we had for like the musical numbers, and that people like we were able to see medleys of songs that were, I mean, some of them were singing for 8 minutes up there. And I
Yeah.
just feel like having that much room for them to be able to perform, I really enjoyed. So
Yeah.
if having all of those awards covered comes at the loss of like some of that time for performance, then I prefer it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think before, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like didn't they didn't really announce like best book, that sort of stuff prior. And I know that that obviously is such an important part of theater, and it's such an integral part of the journey and how, I mean, it's literally the foundation. Um, so I know they used to pick those out and not really um, involve them in the ceremony, and just kind of would give it to them before. So I think it's nice that they're doing that, and and also like History was made at that pre-ceremony, like that part one. Let's talk about Queen Jean. Like, come on.
You'll have to tell me some of the stuff that happened during the part one, because I was
Yeah,
watching that Entertainment Tonight pre-show. I
yeah,
was watching them interview Nathan Lane and Daniel Radcliffe and all kinds of people. So
yeah.
I honestly should have done my homework earlier, but I didn't even research that first half. So talk to me about it.
Yeah. So part one was actually really cool. So basically, it was Lauren Benanti and Titus Burgess, and they just basically like come on the stage and they're talking to everyone, and that's when kind of everyone is filing in. But they announced like best score, which was Schmigadoon, and
Okay.
then best original score, I believe, which was Schmigadoon as well. And then best costume design went to Queen Jean for the Jellicle Ball, which was amazing. And she is actually the first trans woman to win Tony Award
You know
for.
what? I did see something about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And I was like, come on now. Like, that is. And her dress for the Tony Awards, beautiful, beautiful. Her hair was elegant, like it was just perfect. And everybody had the fans that they would drop down. It says "Come One, Come All," which is for cats. And when she won, they just kept throwing it like back. It was just a sea of yellow, and it was like the coolest thing. And then what else did they do in there? Um, did they? I'm trying to remember if they did something for Death of a Salesman. I think they did Death of a Salesman. I think Joe Mantello won for that area, for direction and of a play. And it was really cool. It was really cool seeing, those part one. I mean, I loved it. There was no musical performances, but they also had people coming in to recognize Lifetime Achievement Awards. And then we got into the big ceremony, which was so cool. But I always encourage people either ceremony, like, to watch both, because it's
Mhm.
so important to watch both, and basically see the wins prior, because I don't think they announce it in part two, I think. But it was definitely really cool. I mean, I was screaming when Queen Jean won. I was like, yeah, that's because those costumes are stunning, stunning.
Yeah. I mean, I saw them in their performance last night. I I want to see Cast Ball so bad,
We'll
and
go see it.
nobody
We'll go
else
see
in
it.
my other
We'll
than
go see
you. I
it.
feel like
We'll go see
nobody
it.
in my entire life has any interest in it at all.
Like, I'm not a big Cats fan, but I will go see that
But
show.
it's not
Like,
Cats. It's the
right,
music from Cats, but it's not Cats. It's Cats
right.
the Jello.
And if you're lucky, if you were there on opening night, you saw DJ Andrew Lloyd Webber,
Oh my gosh.
who's
Every time I see
literally
Andrew Lloyd Webber, I get jump scared.
jump scare. Everybody says Matthew Morrison. We say Andrew Lloyd Webber. Please don't sue me, sir Andrew Lloyd
I
Webber.
love his stuff.
Love you.
Lloyd
Love
Webber,
you,
I love
Queen.
your work.
Love you. Love you. If you want to cast me in your shows later on, you can let me know.
Okay, so opening number, so many insane cameos from everyone. Like I was pointing, my neck was breaking because I was
Yeah.
pointing out people left and right, and it was a little hard for me to understand every word. And I was watching on YouTube TV and I couldn't get the captions to turn on.
Okay. So I thought that was just me,
Okay.
and I was because I tend to be I can hear the lyrics and kind of thing, but I don't know if it was the mixing of everything, but it kind of sounded very like muffled a little bit together. But I looked at the lyrics afterwards and they were brilliant and they were like,
Iconic.
but I'm glad that was not me because that was on my notes of like I couldn't really hear them that well. But also the first note before we talk about it was first note I wrote in my thing is Pink as Peter Pan when.
I know. Oh my gosh, she came down and I was like, she's
It I was dying. I was like, okay, I see it. But also, how does her hat stay on that whole time? Thank you, wigs.
lots
Thank
of
you,
bobby pins.
costuming.
Lots of bobby pins.
And then Meg the Stallion.
Oh my gosh, when they introduced her, the two little boys from Ragtime,
Oh,
that was absolutely
Megan,
adorable.
known as
A
the
stallion
Stallion.
from the that
There's
was
just oh
hysterical.
there's it. It's just I love how Pink put everything in there. Like when she said 170 people on stage, she was not lying. She was like, "Oh, I'm going to do that and more." It was so cool to see that because I wrote even in my notes best opening number in a long time.
Yeah.
Now,
So good.
controversially, this is a hot take. The the best performance last time I ever saw a performance, I was like, wow, was Neil Patrick Harris. Sorry. Like
At least they honored him with a cameo.
and he was like, great to see you. And then also Paddington? Question mark.
That I literally was like, is there gonna be a Paddington on Broadway? And
Yeah,
I was like, I
yeah,
don't know, Katie.
yeah, yeah. There is. We'll talk about that later. But they I literally sat there and I was like, this takes the cake. Like this is because I feel like there are a lot of people. No offense, we've had some great hosts. We've had Sarah Bareilles, we've had Josh Groban, we have had Cynthia Erivo, which like slay. We've Ariana DeBose, like all of these things. But I feel like that performance was the best I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
To
I
the
want
point,
them to
yeah,
give us like a Tony's soundtrack that we can listen to of everything from last night.
absolutely.
This is I'm jumping ahead, but that
Oh,
performance of Without You, Leslie Odom Jr., I want that played at my
crying.
funeral. Please. Yeah, it's on record now. I want that played at my funeral.
I think that that opening number encapsulated what it felt like to be a theater kid in so many different ways. Um, and I feel like the dancing of the aisles, like when they came to, oh my God, it's like, it really was like swings, like even swings were on stage. Like, so
Right.
those that don't go on every time were on stage. And
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
crazy.
was amazing for me to see because it was like, everybody, when she said everybody, she meant everybody. And I felt like it was perfect. I mean, Whitney Levitt doing her little dance, like,
Every Whitney Levitt moment last night brought me joy too. When they were performing Chicago and she was six. Or no, she wasn't six. Dylan Mulvaney was six. That was iconic. She was squished.
oh my God, it was so funny. And I thought that was like, I literally was sitting there. My mom was like, our jaws were on the floor. Like, that's because what do you mean? What do you mean? You know?
Right.
Um, and it was just I thought it was so much fun and like Leah Michelle in there, Hannah Cruz, like it was just so good. Also get into the I'm trying to like look at the best featured actor or best actor in a play, I think is what it was. I have to say, controversially, I love John Lithgow, but I was shocked that Nathan Lane did not win.
I knew that's what you were gonna say. And I think the whole internet was kind of disappointed but not surprised. No offense, John Lithgow,
We
but
love you. I loved your work
yeah.
as Lord Farquaad. Okay, I loved you as in The Crown. I really did. But I've seen Death of a Salesman, the current one. I was amazed with his performance in the way of like the depression aspect that he took into Willie. Um, Everyone was like, "Oh, he should be angrier at it," but I felt like when he's having those flashbacks of Uncle Ben and the kids when they're younger, like that to me, like I believed it. Like I wholeheartedly believed they were actually there, even though they were there. Like I
Yeah.
believed, um, and I thought that it was brilliantly done. And I was a little shocked that he did not receive the award because it felt like it was a given at that point.
Right.
But I'm sure John Lithgow was perfect. I mean, I've heard great things about the show, about Roald Dahl. Like I've really heard things, but I also thought Daniel Radcliffe was going to take it.
I had hoped that Daniel Radcliffe because Daniel's my man, but
We love
I
Daniel.
kind of Daniel's so young. I feel like he has like so much more like theater experience ahead of him and opportunities for him to take it home. And I don't know. I kind of was just like they gave it to him, gave it to John Lithgow because he's old. But that's me, and I shouldn't
But
say stuff like
I
that.
think Nathan and him are around the same age.
Yeah, maybe. I
Yeah.
do think
But
Nathan, I think that he was definitely a little snubbed. And I don't think he was the only one, but it's so hard when there's so many good plays and so many good actors and actresses.
yeah.
You can't give it to
Yeah.
everybody.
And I feel like I first thought Daniel because I was like, it's a one man show that is involving audience members. You never know what you're going to get that night.
Right. Yeah.
And yet, like, and it talks about such heavy things, but also brings so much light into it. And it's definitely a show I'm adding to my list that I want to see because
Yeah. I'm so
I,
devastated I
yeah,
didn't see it with him. I know Mariska Hargitay is gonna be great. I'm sure I know she's already been in it for a little while, so I'm sure she is great. But again, I try to see Daniel on Broadway every time he's on Broadway, and
right,
just
right.
I'm
Oh, he's the
disappointed that
best.
I missed out on it.
Oh, the
But
absolute best.
okay.
Um, so then the next thing, because I kept a little track of like, I wrote it in order. Schmigadoon, their performance.
I loved it.
I loved it.
So
I
cute.
have to
So
say,
fun.
I I'm a Schmigadoon stan. I would love that, but I wish they made like a medley of it
So we could have seen more.
because I wish they had the song that's been stuck in my head all day is Corn Puddin'
I know. I was like,
because
it's
I
fun.
was like, because well, here's how and Tony Awards, if you're watching, because I know you are, um, you can like I always thought they pick the numbers to best highlight the people that are nominated
Hmm.
ish. So like last year it was a little hard because they did for Death Becomes Her for the gays, and yes, Megan Hilty was represented there, but Jennifer Samard was also nominated, so that was hard. So then when I saw this, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, let's do a medley because they used to do medleys all the time. So I would have loved for them to do that number, Corn Puddin' and Tribulation, which would have shown off Sarah Chase, her ability with Corn Puddin',
Hmm.
and Anna Gesser's. If you need to see that performance, it is on Jimmy Fallon. It is so good, and she's phenomenal. Like former Elphaba, hello. Um, but I think that performance was so good. But I was like, I need a little bit more. I was like, I need it,
Yeah.
like because corn pudding on that stage.
It would have been so good. It would have been iconic. But I don't know. I think that performance could convince a lot of people to go see Schmigadoon.
Oh, I die at the fact when they're like, oh, we're looking for the cat skills, and he's like, that's cat's the Jellicle ball, like.
Right. That was so funny.
And him talking to Bernadette Peters and going, "All right, see you later, Bernie."
I said you can't just talk to her
Gagged.
as Bernadette Peters before it ever came out of what's the lead actress name in Schmigadoon? I always forget.
Sarah Chase.
Sarah Chase. I always forget her
Yeah.
last name. It's so easy.
Hmm.
But yeah, I said it before Sarah Chase said it. I was like, you can't just talk to her as Bernadette Peters.
But Sis went through it. Sis
Yeah, it
was
was
ready.
funny.
She was like, "Oh, I was watching. I was like, of course, girl." But I thought Just Schmigadoon was incredible, and I am definitely going to try to see it. I mean, it probably will be tough to see it now because it won Best Musical, but we'll see what we can get. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Lori Metcalf.
Yes.
Hello.
Well, yes, girl. I was like, what?
Oh, when I tell you, when I was watching that performance of her, like I was watching her performance, my jaw was on the floor. And like, I know I keep saying that about a couple of things, but it doesn't happen very often that that happens. But
Yeah.
there's a scene in Act One where she's talking to Biff and Happy, and she's like, "You don't understand what your dad gave up to you," and basically tells the kids that their father is depressed and all
I
these
know.
things, and the way she delivered that, I was like, "Here's the Tony Award right here. Here it
Yeah.
is,"
She earned
because
that thing.
there it and also if you watch the show and how they do it there, it's in like an abandoned warehouse,
Mhm.
so it is very intimate, but the Winter Garden is so big, and it's
Yeah.
like you're talking with each other about this really tough topic, so you have to emote but also not make it so it's over dramatic. But she did it perfectly. And I almost felt by the end of it, I was like, my heart hurt. Like, I literally was like, the last line that she says is, "We're free, we're free." And I felt it. Like, I felt it being like, she doesn't have to worry about that anymore. And it just, the way that she did it was beautiful. Like, the way that I don't even know how to describe it. Like how I mean I don't know. This is more on personal side, but if you've taken some care of somebody that has a mental illness or anything of that matter, it's a hard task to do, and it's hard to do that. And the way she treated Willie, and then how she was separate from Willie, you saw that clear divide,
Mm.
and that's what I saw, and I was like, okay, that's perfect because you can't there are times where people play it where they play the same emotion twice. And she literally took it and it was like a different person. She was cheery, be like, "All right, well, like, I know, just come on, go get lunch." And then she literally was like, "Yeah, your dad is really depressed."
Yeah.
And like it was and you saw that gradual kind of like, I can't cry anymore, and you see why she can't. And so when she won, I was like, "Yep, that's right." I was like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. How did you feel about the ragtime performance?
I did notice it was like shot for shot the same opening as like the 90s ragtime, which I didn't have
Oh,
a problem with at
okay.
all.
Okay.
But I wished it had a little bit more like variety. Like it was
Okay.
fine, but I
Okay.
feel like I wanted more than like fine. But I've never seen Ragtime, but I kind of know what it's about and I know that I would be interested in it. And I obviously it won Best Musical, so like it's got to be good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like negative to say about it. I just had like recognized the performance. I was like, I've watched this before, I think.
Yes. Yes. I'm in the same boat with you. I'm a bad theater kid where I know bits and pieces, and I've heard Your Daddy's Son, like I've heard those, and it definitely was so powerful
Oh yeah, very
and
mean.
so like the standing like the when they all arrived together, like that silhouette was
Yes,
perfect,
I
and then they
loved how it.
divide into the three.
Yes, I was gonna say I love how it starts out and they're like all divided, and then there's like at one point in the performance where you can't tell who's who. Like you've got
Right,
the
right.
the blacks, the immigrants, and the whites, but at all of that point, they're everyone's together, you can't tell who's who. And I'm
Yeah.
like, the ragtime, I think somebody made a comment like we needed ragtime. Like in this current political climate, not to get too political, but like we needed ragtime. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
thought it was
Absolutely.
like
Like
phenomenal.
it and it's so funny that a lot of the themes are so relevant to today. There's a part I was just watching it before we started recording, but it was Joshua Henry, who love him.
Okay, wait. My one thought is I wish that we had had a song where Joshua Henry could have sang.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to say.
Okay.
I said, I wish he could have sang the phrase, even if it was just the phrase, Sarah, come down to me.
Yeah.
That, like, because what do you mean that is the best part of singing ever that I've ever, like, I could listen to that on a loop. Like, when I take the train into work each day, like, can I just, play that in
Yeah.
my ears? And I wish they had like different like segments, like we were saying about Shringadoon. Like I wish there was like different segments that highlighted everybody. Like I wish Nichelle got a chance to sing "Your Daddy's Son," like part of that, because I don't know if you've heard her singing that, but it is so good. And it, ugh, I loved that performance because I think it showed the premise of it, but there was like not a lot of staging, which was
Yeah.
great because it was like they're focusing on the message rather than everything else, which I was like obsessed with. So,
Yeah. And I think it definitely deserved Best Musical.
yes, and
I, it was such a toss up. Actually, it didn't win Best Musical. It won Best Revival of a Musical. But I
still
felt
the
like
same,
it
but
was
yeah.
such a toss up between that and Cats. And either one of them winning, I would have been
Yeah,
overjoyed.
absolutely. Like Jellicle Ball also winning Best Direction.
One, I first of all, I did have one comment that
I just
three
loved it.
men won Best Direction for both play, like two men won for play and one man won for musical. And I kind
Yeah.
of, as always, wish that a woman had won. But speaking of iconic female wins, how about the first female playwright in 40 years winning the Tony for Best Play?
Liberation. Liberation.
I want to see Liberation so bad.
I also kind of want to talk about something that another performance that really kind of stood out to me, Titanic.
Okay. I was a little confused
Okay.
because I had like heard of Titanic. I knew it was a Titanic parody. I did not know it was all of this like Celine Dion, that it was a Celine
Uh-huh.
Dion jukebox musical, but it makes sense.
So so I've been following it since it was off Broadway. And I had watched it, different parts of it, that sort of thing. And I remember being like, wait, what is this? Like, and I think it's if Celine Dion was in the Titanic. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's all that. But the songs fit perfectly. I'll have to send you the clip I found on YouTube the other day. It was so good. But it was crazy because when I found out Marla Mandel was in it, I was like, oh my God, I saw her in Sister Act. Like, and it was like kind of like this full circle moment. I was like, and she's nominated for three?
Okay,
Three
I
Tony
seriously
Awards?
had a moment last night. This is embarrassing, but you can keep it in, where I
Yeah.
actually thought that was Celine Dion. And I had to Google what Celine Dion looked like. And still for a second, because I have really bad facial recognition skills, I still thought it was Celine Dion. And then I Googled Titanic cast. And then I
And
realized it's
that's
not.
and that's the part of acting. So Marla Mandel is secretly Celine
Clearly,
Dion,
I
and
had no idea what Celine
she
Dion
says,
looks
"Shall we go
like.
for it?" I thought it was great, and I wish it won something else. I really did because of how funny it is.
Yeah.
Like Marla Mandel literally does an improv section every single show. There's a part where I guess like Jack and Rose are going to the basement or something. They're running together, some whatever, or they're hiding from people. I think it's after Paint Me Like One of Your French Girls. I think it's like after that. I don't remember, but she's talking about the spooky, scary kind of story, and every night it's different. So the person playing Jack has to mouth the words, and same with Rose, but she doesn't know what's going to come out of their mouth, like out of Marla Mandel's mouth. It's all these random little improv, and she comes up with it. Like right off the spot, like right on the spot. Like
Yeah.
it is insane. And so that's I kind of wish that that was recognized a little bit more, maybe. Because I love Marla. And Constantine, like I adore their work and I think they're so funny. And I do think that the sound system did not do them very well. That I think the mixing was a little hard because if you've heard Marla's vocals in real life,
Yeah, I did not think the vocals were as strong as they could have been,
I think
but
it was the mixing and how
I think it was more on the Tonys and not on the cast.
I wish people saw what she actually sounds like.
Yeah, which
You
is
know?
love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
watch the Today Show performance of that, and
I will.
she will. Yeah, but um, I wish they kind of won something because I feel like it's such a great
Yeah,
show, and they've gone so far. And I think Marla was saying she's the first woman to be nominated for 3 Tony Awards,
wow.
like in a season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, sis really got it. Like that's yeah, but
I think it's hard to win a Tony as a parody musical when you're up against like original content, but I don't necessarily think I would consider Schmigadoon original content either. I mean, it is based
oh
on an idea. I mean, I know
well,
it's original from the show, but it's based on an idea that already existed.
yeah. I'm trying to think though if they because
But
they had
those
some of the
Lost Boys,
songs. Yeah, the Lost Boys, and so
those
is the
everything. I mean,
Outsiders, and basically
everything. Back to the
like
Future, all of them are all based on something.
oh, Back to the Future. Rest in peace. Love
I
her.
know.
The DeLorean's still out there somewhere.
We'll
She's just
find it.
flying. Roger Bart's gonna come just like in a DeLorean and just like land on the stage and be like, "Hey guys, miss me?"
Before we run out of time, I'd want to touch on Ali Louis Borzy. I always have a hard time pronouncing his name. I This is the first episode, so nobody here knows how big of a Hadestown stan I am. But anyone who has ever been in Hadestown at any point, I'm a fan of you. So I
Absolutely.
started crying immediately when he won because I was like, yes. But I thought his speech was fantastic.
So
He said a lot of things that really like needed to be said. But just the fact that he won for Lost Boys to begin with, I thought was super iconic.
yeah.
Um, and then outside of that, oh, do you have any thoughts on that before I move on?
No, I mean, as soon as he won, I was like, my heart feels good. Like it feels
Yes.
good. And then, but like Shoshana won previous before that, and I was like, oh,
Yes, literally, like I
what
said,
a
all I wrote in my
combo!
notes for the whole night was just Shoshana. Like I was so proud of her.
Like, oh, it was a great thing, and especially people that won for the first time. That was really, really
Yeah.
cool to kind of see because I literally wrote in my notes. I mean, I literally wrote Shoshana about dang time. That's literally what I wrote in my notes
Yeah,
because she's been in this industry for how long? And that there's no one that deserves flowers more than she does.
definitely.
Like I was obsessed. Obsessed.
Other than that, I do have a couple of thoughts about Rocky Horror. Um,
Okay. Okay.
I wanted to see this cast of Rocky Horror so bad because of the cast. And I love Rocky Horror. And I was like, it's iconic, like Stephanie Shu and Luke Evans and Amber Gray and all these people. And I was a little underwhelmed. I thought that the performance was good, and I thought everybody put their all into it. I don't know what it was really, but after last night, I am like not as pressed to go see Rocky Horror as I was,
Oh.
which is kind of
Hot
sad.
take.
But I that's definitely a hot take, and I'm sure there's some people who are like, that was the best performance of the night. But I just I do think Luke Evans is iconic. Like he's sexy.
To wear a corset, like, and those heels,
Hello?
and he's already like 6'3" to begin with.
He sounded good. And I will say I do think Juliet, what's her last name? She's playing
Magenta?
Columbia. She's playing Columbia.
Oh,
Um I did not think she sounded great, but that also could have been the Tonys, not her
yeah.
fault. Um
Amber
but
Gray was iconic. Like,
again, Hadestown. Obsessed. I loved her.
I
Scary, but I kind of liked that about
I
her.
was a little bit like, oh, jump scare, but because it was different than the past iterations that we've seen of Riff
Yeah.
Raff. Like, but it's funny you say that because I have a different take on it. I thought it was so good. I mean, no one will ever, ever, ever top Tim Curry in my mind
Well,
as
yeah.
Frank because what do you mean? Like power? I literally majority of the time during my lunch break, I spend time listening to like compilations to be like, oh, is this when this is gonna, X, Y, and Z? And I listen to him, Terrence Mann, like all this stuff, and I'm like, he just takes cake. But I had watched them perform this recent cast perform on Jimmy Fallon, and I was like kind of underwhelmed, like you said.
Mhm.
But then this Tony performance, I don't know what it was or what clicked,
But it's like
but
the opposite
he
for you.
came out there and he was like, ugh, like, and it was amazing. Like, I, I also think that it's such a cult classic, and I think
Oh, yeah.
that people are either gonna love it or hate it. Um, but I
Yeah. And
think,
maybe I just felt like we needed more Stephanie Shu.
yeah,
Because we saw her like twice the whole
we need
performance.
Janet, like we
Yes. Or
like
Janet
the
and Brad, please.
Janet and Brad. I really I think the time warp was incredible. And then they pulled up people from the audience
Oh
on the
yeah.
stage, which I thought
I
was
was
really cool.
disappointed at first when they were singing Sweet Transvestite because I was like, what about Time Warp? But as soon as they started playing it, I was excited about
You know
it.
what's so funny is I was thinking about it too that way. I was like, as soon as I saw time warp, because normally in the if anybody doesn't know, the sequence is normally time warp, and then there's like a little bit of a section, and then sweet transvestite.
Hmm.
And so the fact that I was seeing Sweet Transvestite first and Frank was in Time Warp, I was like, does
Dude, it
this
was
make
so
sense? But it
iconic.
made sense. And the way I watched Luke in the back, like interacting with Brad and Janet, and he was like petting their hair. It was like such a cute thing. And it was just, I think that every thing in that performance was great. I mean, I think that it's like I said, it's such a show that is such a hard pill to swallow sometimes because it's a cult classic for
Yeah.
many reasons, and I'm so happy it's back on Broadway. But I think that it's definitely different than Tim Curry, but no one will ever top Tim Curry. But I felt the same way too. Of like, I needed, but I also felt like, okay, this was good. Like we're okay. Yeah,
Yeah. This was the first thing that I had seen from it. So maybe now I'll go watch that Jimmy Fallon performance and then
absolutely.
maybe I'll have the opposite.
Uh,
That one will convince me that I need to go see it again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that it is such a cool show to kind of watch and see the changes, and especially because I think they did Jimmy Fallon like just around the same amount of time when it opened.
Okay.
And then this one, and it was like such a stark, at least I felt so. But yeah, so, and then I think the last two things that we'll talk about, obviously we had some tribute performances, Chicago and Book of Mormon, and a chorus line, and the In Memoriam by Leslie Odom Jr., which I want that played all the time. Katie said she already wants it played on her funeral. Um, it is it his voice transcends beyond what is humanly possible. So
Yeah,
we're
Leslie
okay with
Odom
that.
Jr. could sing me to sleep. He could sing me into surgery. That man, he is.
When I
I just,
start my day,
yeah.
literally, like, oh my god, I am obsessed. And so talking about the Chicago tribute, so I thought it was so funny that they had. So I was watching it. I knew Julianne Hough was in it, and I knew Dylan Mulvaney was in it, and they both are iconic people. And so was Whitney Levitt. But I did not expect Cedric to be there. Who went
Okay.
I when he
Yeah.
popped up, I said hello.
My opinion on the Chicago performance is that I wished we had seen Whitney and Mark.
I'll
I
edit out.
understand it being more of the ensemble, but I wish that we had seen Whitney Love and Mark Ballas just selfishly because that would have
Absolutely.
been
And
iconic.
also, can we talk about how, okay, when I wrote in my notes that Pink, when during Ariana's debut, like when Ariana came out and she like ripped the pants off, I wrote in my notes, Pink in Chicago when? Question mark.
When she came out and sang
And
all
then
that
when she
jazz,
came out, I said, Pink in Chicago when? I need
when,
this now.
next, yes, what?
Because why do I need this immediately? And I'm pulling up my notes right now, but I literally went, what did I say? Again, Pink in Chicago when? Because my mom has seen Chicago and she was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like
I love
that.
that you had already clocked it.
Oh, it was insane. And I screamed. I was like, that's perfect. And the way that she did it, and like honestly, I could see it. I could see it
And
happening.
she sounded so good. Like
The opt
singing
up,
all that jazz.
hello.
Yes, she sounded so good.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was gonna say? The Book of Mormon, that was really cool. That's another show I have yet to see. But seeing the
Watched.
original cast is great. Like
Yeah,
I
I'd watched the slime tutorial of the original cast,
oh
and I thought it was cute how they like brought them back instead of having like the current cast, because like that's the cast that everyone knows of Book of Mormon.
yeah.
And yeah, it was iconic. It was a really cute performance.
And I just Josh Gad is phenomenal. And
Yeah, so
every
funny.
that's not Olaf anymore, everyone. That is that is Josh Gad.
Yeah.
um but yeah, so overall I think the Tony Awards did a really great job at obviously giving the flowers to the people that, did I even that deserved it or anything of that nature. And I felt like it was beautifully done to celebrate theater and felt like a really great night. Like I felt like last year I kind of was like, like it was
Yeah.
good. Like I liked it. And then this year I was like, that was great. Like
Yeah.
that it wasn't like there was one show that was just sweeping the like there wasn't one show that was like sweeping the whole season, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean Schmigadoon maybe, but like it wasn't like Hamilton's year where it was like Hamilton, or like, or Dear Evan
Well,
Hansen,
it's
that's it.
Hamilton, so
Yeah, I mean, as they should. But yeah, so I think that either way that you watch theater, you love theater, it's such a great time and great experience.
yep. Speaking of people who watch and like theater, we're coming to the end of our episode. So if you enjoyed listening to us talk and hearing our opinions on the Tony Awards, definitely subscribe, follow, give us a
Yes.
like. And we'll be posting more episodes every week, hopefully.
Yeah. If you want to keep following our journey and follow any updates that we have, new podcasts, anything like that, we have some social media accounts that you can follow. You can follow us on Instagram at Curtain Call Commentary Pod. And we also have a TikTok account, which is
Curtain call commentary.
yes. And I think maybe we'll talk about a YouTube channel, maybe posting it so that way it's like a little bit more. But you can also find us on any of your streaming platforms with Apple Podcast or Spotify
Mhm.
Podcast, anything like that. And we're just gonna have a grand old time. I mean, it's all theater, all fun over here, and everybody's welcome in this space. So
Thank you for watching and
thanks for
you know,
watching. Follow Curtain Call Commentary, please.
see you guys next week.
See ya.